All right, are you wondering what the good, bad, and ugly of living in Jacksonville, North Carolina is? Well, this video is gonna discuss all of that right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every single Tuesday and Thursday that I put out a new video pertaining to all things Eastern North Carolina. Guys, my name's Avery. I'm with American Home Team at eXp Realty. I am a broker here in North Carolina. So that means as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Eastern North Carolina, I would love to be the team of choice to help you make a smooth move to Eastern North Carolina. And without further ado, guys, today we're talking about pros and cons of living in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Let's go. All right, so kicking it off, we're gonna start with the best, at least in my opinion, and that is the proximity to the beaches. Guys, Jacksonville, North Carolina is just a stone's throw away from numerous beaches in the area, whether it's Topsail Island, North Topsail, Emerald Isle on the other side of Camp Lejeune, or if you're in the Marine Corps or you're a sailor and you're stationed on Camp Lejeune, New River, wherever, you can scoot right on over to Onslow Beach, and there are some areas that you can actually drive your vehicle on. You can get a permit and drive your vehicle on the beach, which is pretty cool. A lot of military folks love to do that. But one of the biggest things that makes up the area of Eastern North Carolina is the ocean frontage, right? And so from Jacksonville, you can go about 20 or so minutes to Emerald Isle, and that's on the east side. And then on the west side, you have like Surf City, Topsail Island, North Topsail, and then further into Wilmington, which is gonna be about an hour or so from Jacksonville. It's gonna be like the Wrightsville Beach area, right? And there's Carolina Beach and whatnot. But that is pro number one, and that's my favorite thing because, you know, I like to work hard, play hard, and when I'm playing hard, I like to go on the beach, catch a tan, you know, go fishing. Do whatever you do at the beach, right? Drink some drinks, but with that said, guys, that is pro number one. If you have any questions on the beaches, reach out anytime. Love to go have a drink with you, sit in beach style. All right, and so the second pro of living in Jacksonville, North Carolina is gonna be the cost of living. When we speak about cost of living in a particular area, we're talking about a number of factors, right? But in this case, what I really wanna hone in on is the cost of housing in Jacksonville. So Jacksonville is 36% lower than the national average when it comes to the cost of housing. Right now, we are in a elevated period where housing is a little bit more expensive right now than really we've ever seen it, right? But that's normal, that's called inflation, that happens everywhere. But with that said, right now, just for reference point, there's not a lot of listings around the 250 mark and below. There's just not. You're not gonna find a lot of housing under 250. Over 250, you can find a lot. Now it's just a matter of honing in on your specifications, right? To figure out if you want a 3-bed, a 2-bed, a 4-bed, how many bathrooms, right? How big of a yard you want it fenced in, all of that stuff, right? So when it comes to housing, you're gonna wanna be a little bit flexible because if you're looking under that 250 range, it's gonna be limited, it might take a little bit more time. But if you're able to go over that 250 range, you definitely have a lot more options. There's a lot more inventory in that range, and you can probably find something a little bit faster. But with that said, groceries are cheaper, gas is cheaper than that of out west, maybe like California or Arizona or even Texas, right? And definitely up north. I'm from New York, and the prices up in New York are astronomical compared to Jacksonville, North Carolina. All right, and the third pro of living in Jacksonville, North Carolina, it's not gonna be the last pro. There's gonna be one more special pro at the end that I'm gonna throw out, so you're gonna wanna make sure to stick around to the end. But the third pro that I'm gonna talk about right now is the outdoor activities. Jacksonville, North Carolina is home of tons of trails, tons of fishing opportunities, whether it's on the New River, whether it's Mud Creek, whether it's fishing from the beaches, right, into the Atlantic Ocean, hiking, biking, walking, festivals, right? Tons of outdoor activities to do. You can go boating on the ocean or the New River, and it's really just a good time. It's a very active community. If people aren't eating or drinking, they're out doing stuff in outdoors. You know, one of the big reasons that my family moved to Jacksonville area to North Carolina is because it's so sunny all the time. Right, there's it's a very, very good subtropical climate. We wanted to go and spend more time outdoors. You know, where we're from in upstate New York is just muggy gloomy all the time, raining, snowing, feels like the winters drag on, and you don't really spend that much time outside, right? So part of our decision in moving to North Carolina was just the opportunity to go out and spend time with the good weather and do things outside, hiking and going to the beach and doing all that stuff, right? So that is pro number 3, and right now we're moving into the con. All right, now moving into the cons of living in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Con number 1 is gonna be the traffic, right? I spoke about this on another video, but the traffic can be really bad at times. It's a growing city. Jacksonville's a growing city, so if you're caught at a red light, you're probably gonna be there for a little while. You're probably gonna go slow with traffic because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of development and gentrification going on, but also there's a lot of people, right? And so when you have the Marines that live on base and they go out into the city of Jacksonville, and then you also have the locals, right, that are just trying to do whatever they do in their day-to-day life, right? It becomes congested. The highway systems are great, but there's not a lot of them. So you can get congested. You know, if you're in the city of Jacksonville, or even if you get out into the smaller towns like Emerald Isle, or you go the other way into like Hampstead or Wilmington, the traffic is going to be bad. Average commute time is 15.9 minutes, right? So just about 16 minutes for a commute, but that's average, right? You might get caught in rush hour and be at a red light or just stuck, right, for 15 minutes at a time. So traffic is one of those things that you're gonna wanna pay attention to. If you can't take back roads, take back roads. Try to avoid, like me, like I try and avoid traffic at all costs. If it means that I have to take a route that's 10 minutes longer just to avoid the traffic, I will absolutely do so. But that is definitely going to be one of the things that you need to pay attention to when you move here, is figuring out those traffic patterns and how long you're going to be stuck on your commute. All right, and moving on to the next con. This hurts me a little bit because I believe that the weather is so good in Jacksonville. However, during the summer months, right, August, September, October, we are most prone for hurricanes in those months. Really, it's June through November, but Jacksonville is prone to hurricanes, right? We had Hurricane Florence, Irene, Hazel, Fran, a bunch of hurricanes have came through Jacksonville, and that can seriously damage, obviously, your property, right? But it can also damage your cars. It can do a lot of things, right? It floods the entire city and it will shut down. So with the weather, as great as it can be, right? It's sunny all the time. There's 214 days of sunlight every year. The rain and the hurricanes can be a downfall. And so with regard to the hurricanes, you're gonna wanna pay attention to the local weather authorities so that you know if something is gonna impact your area, like a hurricane or a cyclone or something of that nature, because you don't want your house flooded or your car swept away or potentially your family to be endangered because of something that you could have avoided, right? So it's always a good idea to pay attention to the local weather authority, as long as they get it right. But generally, something this big like a hurricane or a cyclone or something, they are correct. So pay attention. Your life could depend on it, right? But all of this to say that it is a pro. It's something to, or a con rather. It is something to think about when you move here, right? Is it something that should deter you? In my opinion, not necessarily, right? But it is something to think about. Hey, what is my contingency plan, right? Do I have all of my gear stocked up? Do I have my go bag ready to go? You know, all of those things are factors when you're considering moving here. Hurricanes are one of them. All right, so the last con, but certainly not the least, is gonna be that it's a military town, right? And I say this very loosely because everyone loves our military, right? However, there's an airstrip right outside of Jacksonville, right? In Jacksonville, New River, right? So there's an airstrip that houses a lot of airplanes, helicopters, so on and so forth, right? You get the idea. It's an airport. And then you also have Richland's airport. So the airport at New River, and then you also got Cherry Point, which is out east. If you're not a fan of helicopters and noise and low flying airplanes and helicopters, this is not the place for you. Jacksonville has a very, very high concentration of helicopters flying over top your neighborhood. Sometimes it's at night, right? These pilots, because they're in the military, they need to be well advanced in their craft. They need to train. That means night hours as well. Now, they try and do it as remotely as possible, right? Meaning that they don't like to fly over neighborhoods specifically. However, they can't avoid it sometimes. So, if you get a helicopter over your house at night, it might wake you up. It's shaking your house, it might wake you up. It's something to consider when moving here because you might want to stay on the outskirts, like closer to Wilmington or something of that nature, but the closer you are to Jacksonville, the more you're gonna hear those airplanes and helicopters. That's a con that I thought of because if you're not used to it, it's gonna turn you off a little bit. I remember going on vacation one time up in the Fort Drum area in New York. It's toward the Adirondack region, and it's an Army base. And where we were staying at the Airbnb, it was a lake. It's called Lake Bonaparte, and on the one end of the lake was an artillery range. And every single time they would send off a rocket, a missile, what have you, and it impacted, it would explode, and it would rattle throughout the lake, and it would echo, and you could hear it, right? I thought it was kind of cool. My wife thought it was kind of cool. Her parents weren't sure what to do, right? Because they aren't used to that. So if you're not used to the helicopters all the time, the airplanes all the time, it's something to think about. You're gonna want to consider it when you move here. It's just one of those things. If you're not used to it, you're not gonna like it, but you gotta get used to it. You won't even notice it anymore. All right, and with all that said, this is the last pro, right? And this was what I was telling you guys to wait for because it's a little contrary to what I just said in the last con. But the last pro I wanted to say for last, or as an extra rather, is that it is a highly respected military community. Camp Lejeune is the largest Marine Corps installation in the world, which I'm pretty excited about, being a Marine Corps vet myself. However, the Marines in the area, the military in the area, make Jacksonville feel like a melting pot, right? Where there's just all of these different kinds of people, different cultures, different styles, different characteristics, different demeanors, different languages, different dialects or accents, right? And they all mesh together. They're all friends. Everybody is friends. All of the people that like are from the military that end up retiring and like staying in the Jacksonville area, man, it's just crazy to see the diversity that comes from the military. It was really funny. You know, when I was stationed in the Camp Lejeune area, I would walk through the mall and you'd see a group of friends. You'd have a cowboy next to a city slicker, next to a hipster, and it's just so funny seeing all different walks of life come together and have the same thing, like one or two things in common, but they get along so well. And so that's why I wanted to bring this pro up, because it doesn't matter where you are from in the United States or out of the country, wherever it is, you're gonna come to Jacksonville and you're gonna be very much accepted because of the melting pot aspect of it. There's just so many cultures, so many different ethnicities and all of that jazz here in Jacksonville, and that makes it one of the coolest places to live, just because it's that perspective, right? When you don't have the perspective of other people's lifestyle and other people's cultures, right, you tend to act a certain way. And so, not in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a very well-rounded, well-diverse area, and I think you'll like it for that reason. All right, and there we have it. There were the pros and cons of living in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Guys, once again, my name is Avery. I'm with eXp Realty, American Home Team at eXp Realty. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single Tuesday and Thursday that I release a new video. And go ahead, reach out to that phone number, email address on the screen. I am the guy that responds to those phone calls, texts, and emails. I love helping you guys, and whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 90 days, I'd love to be the guy of choice. But with all that said, till the next one, I hope you guys have a good one. See ya.